Introduce to you a way of using your chart and a magnetic compass to get fixes on the chart. Now, I also want to bring into it using the sextant. The sextant will get the angles that can be converted into lines of position for positions on your chart. At sea can be an enjoyable experience and a pastime. Navigation and getting good fixes should be fun and part of the sailor's life at sea. Being good at navigation makes for the complete sailor or skipper. Most large boats and ships carry on board this magnetic compass, a chart, and a sextant, and the skipper, who has had training either at a school or from some of the many navigation books, can get a fix on this chart, a good fix. Many skippers have tried to get good magnetic compass fixes on a chart only to find poor and confusing results as far as the fix. After additional tries, the magnetic bearing compass can be stored away, and attempt of fixing is put on hold, often frequently. If you don't get good fixes, you don't want to bother. If the skipper got what he believes a good fix, he would feel good about the idea and would carry to navigation and learn more, and will demonstrate his ability to his friends or her friends. This success will carry the skipper on to more navigation goals and success. But why would one skipper get bad fixes and another get good fixes? Much of this is the incomplete teaching of navigation by school and texts. It's important for the novice navigator or skipper to get good results to continue and enjoy navigation. The magnetic compass can be used with a sextant to get that good fix, and an easy technique. The easy technique is first use the magnetic compass. The magnetic compass has 3 errors. One is on the chart and is called variation. The other is deviation, and that's the ship or boat you're on. If you get clear of all metals, then variation is your only problem. Now, these are systematic errors, and they can be corrected. Now, the magnetic compass also has random errors, which is an unknown error that causes the bad fixes. If the random error is eliminated or reduced into systematic error, you can get good fixes. Now, I'm going to show you at the end, if we don't get good fixes to begin with, how to collapse a triangle if you get one. To explain the method that I was talking about, using the magnetic compass and the sextant to get good fixes, I'm going to use this position that I was actually standing on land, so I know where I am. I'm going to take bearings of one object in particular, which is the Naval War College up on this island. Now, I will take the sextant angles between the War College and Rose Island. This sextant angle I will change into a bearing. Next, I will take a sextant angle from Rose Island to Fort Adams, and this will composed of my fix. So let me show you a blow-up of that on a maneuvering board. This is my end results. I'm in the center of that circle. This is a maneuvering board that I can put down those same nav aids. First of all, the War College. Second, Rose Island Light. And third, Fort Adams. So I can take a magnetic bearing with my compass, magnetic compass, of this War College. Then I can take sextant angles between that War College and Rose Island. Then sextant angle from Rhode Island Light to Fort Adams. Now, in doing so, I get rid of the magnetic problem with the random. I'm into mostly systematic errors that are almost correct as far as angles for all of them. So what I'll do is get fixes, and I will convert those fixes into bearings. Now, I take a sextant angle, first a bearing to the War College. It's the bearing, raw bearing, is 343, but I have to correct that with the 15-degree Wesley magnetic error variation. So 328 is the bearing that I will plot from the War College. That's this green line. Then I'll take the sextant angle between the War College and Rose Island Light. It's 66 degrees. So if I take that bearing of 328 and subtract 66 degrees from it, I get 262. That's this green line. So the angle between Rose Island Light and the Fort Adams is 46 degrees. So subtracting that from 262, I get 216. So these green lines are the fix. And if you notice, I'm right there in the center, and that's where the fix comes in. So in doing this problem, I solved everything I want to, and I got a good fix just by using the closest nav aid, the War College, as a magnetic bearing and correcting it, then taking the sextant angle between the others and correcting those. So this is a good way to get a good fix. No doubt about the fix. Although I want you to learn more. This is the Franklin piloting technique. We're going to take and use that same bearings and sextant angles, and instead of adding the 15 degrees, which we know to be the local error for variation, we're going to, subtract 10, so that we know that we will be 5 degrees off, and we will plot those and see what the triangle then looks like. Then we will use that triangle to correct itself. So this is the Franklin piloting technique. What you do in this case is the red lines. So we use the same information as we used before, but instead of getting the green lines, which was almost a perfect fix, we're going to introduce a 5-degree error just to correct it and to see how to correct it. Now you're taught, if you have a triangle, to use the center of the triangle for your fix. This is a big mistake, and I'm trying to get people to correct this. These lines from various points are in different distances, so therefore the line of position that's coming from that object will spread out as far as a radiant rule, and the CPA, the miss from the ship or you, will be great if the object is greater, the nav 8 is greater. For an example, the War College is this distance. We need not measure it, but we can see it. The light from Rose Island is this distance. The Fort Adams, you can see, is a farther distance. So therefore the line is going to miss us by a farther closest point of approach. So the red line from the War College with the 5-degree error will be this line. The 5-degree error from Rose Island will be this red line. And the far off one, Fort Adams, will be this red line. So we have a triangle right here. Instead of picking the center of the triangle, pick the two closest with a good angle of spread, which is the War College and Rhode Island Light. Now, put yourself standing right there at that intersection. That is your fix. Notice it's closer to the center of this maneuvering board than the center of the triangle. And notice also that it's almost in line, almost a range with Fort Adams. So by taking a bearing from this intersection, two-line intersection, to Fort Adams and reading it, you get what Fort Adams should have been bearing. It should have bared 216. Our bearing with the error was 221. A difference of 5 degrees, and you can see to correct it and get back to the green line, you would have to subtract 5 degrees from each one of those red lines and replot it to get almost the perfect fix again.